Hey you guys, thank you for coming and watching my video. And before you do that, don't forget to subscribe. Love you and thank you, and here it goes. Hey you guys, so by the title of this video, you know that I'm finally ready to tell you about my story about my son and the way that I lost him, and my emotions, my feelings, everything. I'm just going to tell you all about my experience. So I hope you have some time, because this video's going to be a little lengthy, but I'm sure you guys would like to know everything, just because I know there's a lot of women that go through this and have experienced this and just need to find someone that they can relate to. And sometimes a person just wants to listen. It was December 5th, and I had to go to a doctor. What's crazy is that Kevin went to every doctor's appointment, but this one, he couldn't come. So, I wake up and I have to go to the doctor. I didn't eat much, because I know I was going. So I probably ate a snack or something, and I drank a lot of water. And every morning when I'm going to work or anywhere, he was so active. And when I mean active, homeboy was, kicking me, like moving around. But this morning was a little different, because he wasn't moving. Not to say at all, but I probably feel like that, like lightly. So I ain't put too much thought into it. I just thought, okay, I didn't eat that much. Maybe he's sleeping or something. So I go to the doctor, and I'm waiting, and I am tired. I'm tired. I wait for my turn, and she calls me. I go in the room, and I wait for a little minute. I wait. So, I snuggle up a little bit and wait for the girl. But I'm really trying to keep my eyes open. So, in my head, I'm like, ugh. After this doctor's appointment, I have to go right back to work. And I was just so tired. So the girl comes in, and, same procedure, lift up your shirt. Now I had these doctor's appointments where I went to do ultrasounds because I had fibroids. And with the fibroids in your pregnancy, you're labeled as, special. Like, I had to go see a specialist. First, it was every 6 weeks. And because I was, getting further along, I was almost 7 months. No, 7. Let's say it was Thursday, I was going to be 7 months on Monday. So, they would check to see if the fibroids were getting bigger, if they were causing any, problems with the growth of the baby, or if it was just getting in his way, or if they just weren't growing at all. So, she's talking to me, and we're talking about, everything, but not like just a conversation that you have because we have to talk. right? So she's going over my belly, and she's like, so when's the last time you felt the baby move? Now, to me, at that moment, I just felt like it was just a regular question that they asked. Mind you, I had Brianna like 10 years ago. So I don't remember anything, and I was young. I was 19 years old, so I had no clue. I didn't remember anything. I tried to remember stuff from when I was pregnant, but I just didn't remember. So I'm not thinking when she asked me, if something was wrong. It didn't alarm me the way she asked me, because she did it so, not nonchalantly, but she did it with ease, how she asked me. So I was like, maybe last night. And at that moment, I should have been like, dang, since last night, like, that's an issue. When you get that further along, the baby gets really active. And there's so many things that when I looked back, like, that was a sign. But I'm in la la land, I don't even know. So she's still scanning me or whatever. Now she's like, okay, I'm gonna go get the doctor. This is normal. So she leaves me in there, and that wasn't my first time in that office. So they take like 20 minutes. For what? I don't know. But they take long. So I'm in the thing, and I'm trying not to fall asleep, but I am exhausted. Now when you're pregnant, you're tired. But this tired, I couldn't keep my eyes open. So the doctor comes in, and she's like, hi, Joanne. And this is the second time I'm meeting her, because the first time I met her, she was like, your son's head is so perfect. So, I thought she was cool or whatever, especially if she gave my son a compliment. So, she's like, hey, Joanne, how are you? And I'm like, I'm good. And so she's like, lift up your shirt so I can, take a look and see if everything's okay. So I'm like, okay. And so she scans me. She's going all over my stomach. And I can't really tell what she's looking for, but I'm just laying there. So then she's done. I pull down my shirt and I get up. So she's like, Joanne? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I don't see a heartbeat. I cried, and I cried, and I cried, because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to say. So she's like, is there someone I can call? My boss. And I couldn't say anything. I couldn't speak, really, because all I was doing was crying. But I managed to tell her that I lost the baby, and if she can call Kevin. I couldn't talk to him. I couldn't break his heart. So I'm sitting in the room, and can you imagine, someone telling you that, and you don't have your person there to give you support? I drove there by myself. if I had to drive to the hospital by myself. It was just a lot. So then he comes and he's crying. He's crying. So we sit there, and now the doctor comes and gets us and has us walk to her office. And no one is there. No one is there but me, him, and her. And I can honestly say that I appreciate it now. Because then I wasn't thinking about anything. So we go in the office. And I say, what do I do now? She said, you can go home, but, you know, eventually you do have to go to the hospital and have the baby. Because your doctor wants you to go. So we leave. And we get in the car, and I'm just in a daze. I'm rubbing my stomach because I can't believe my baby is dead. So, we get in the hospital, I'm registering myself. They take me to the room, and I hear these women giving birth. I hear crying babies. And to know that you are about to have a child and you're not going to hear those noises, you're not going to hear your baby cry, it's hard, and it's a different kind of hurt. So, you know, it's me, Kevin, his mom comes, and we're in the room, and Kevin's in the chair, and he's crying, and my mom comes. My mom greets Kevin's mom, and it's like, hi, all happy, and now she's really looking around, and she's looking at Kevin like, what's wrong? Looking around, and she's asking what's wrong, and she's looking at Kevin, and she's looking at me, and she's like, what's going on? So we tell her that I lose the baby. But I don't know if it wasn't registering in my mom's mind that I lost the baby. Because my mom was like, no. Call them to bring another monitor down. And honestly, I wish she never did that. Because it kind of gave me some kind of hope that he was okay. But the girl came and she checked me, and there still was nothing. So the nurses come, and it's time to put my IVs in, and it takes about like 4 nurses to put 1 needle in, and that was a pain in itself. So now we're just sitting there. My sister comes. Kevin's mom leaves. So it's just us. I call Brianna's father and tell him just to keep her. And not just keep her for a while. Until it's okay for her to come home. So my doctor comes. And she tells me, I'm sorry for your loss. and she explains me everything that's gonna happen. So she tells me I have to push the baby. Mind you, this is the same 24 hours. So she tells me I have to push. But I didn't know how that was going to happen because he was breached, meaning his head was here and his feet was down. So she's like, I have to go, but the other doctor that's at the office, mind you, I don't know him, will be here. And he'll be here probably in the next hour. So I'm there, left, to deal with my emotions and everything. And really the time go by. And my best friend comes. And now Kevin has to go. He couldn't stay. And it's not like he didn't want to. It's just at that moment, that time, he couldn't stay. So he had to go. And even though I had my mom, my sister there, I felt like I was by myself. I felt by myself because so the doctor comes and he doesn't give me a pill, but he puts like a red pill inside of me, and this pill is to help with your contractions, to bring on the contractions and make you start dilating. So he puts it in, and I really didn't want to. I really didn't want him to do it because I really wanted to wait for when Kevin came back in the morning that I could have the baby. But I couldn't wait. So he put it in, and now it's like that thing worked like that. And I was in pain. I couldn't lay any kind of way because I just felt pain. And when I had Brianna, I had a C-section and I had an epidural, so I didn't feel anything. Even when I had the C-section, I only felt pressure. But this time I felt pain. And the nurse that I had now, they switched nurses now. The shift changed and I have a different nurse. And this lady was just so rough with me. And I felt like she wasn't sympathetic to the situation. I felt like she was in there just doing her job, but not realizing this girl just is in the process of losing her child. And she was so rough with me. So now I gotta go to the bathroom and I gotta do number 2. So the lady was like, no, you can't go to the bathroom. I said, I have to go. So she's like, okay. So I go use the bathroom. And I was scared because how I felt, I was feeling pressure. So I was like, I don't want to have him in the toilet. So I go back and I can't find a position. So the only position I felt comfortable was kind of hovering over the bed and not laying on it or sitting on it. Like I had to be in that position. Then I got in a position where I sat at the edge of the bed because I couldn't take the pain. Sorry, guys. So now it's getting bad, tell the nurse, I'm like, I'm ready. And she's like, no, you're not ready. I said, yes, I am. Call the doctor. Tell him to come and check me. My mom is yelling at me, telling me to stop yelling at the lady. And God is my witness, I was so angry. And I yelled at both of them. And I asked them, do y'all know what I'm going through? Did you lose a baby? Are you losing a baby right now? No, I am. So I'm sorry if I'm not being so polite and so nice. I'm ready. So the doctor comes and he puts another red thing in me, another red pill. But I felt like I didn't need it because it probably was like not even 20 minutes and I felt him coming and I couldn't hold anything. So the doctor comes and he breaks my water and Elijah feet comes out, and because he was breached, now the doctor had to come over on top of me and take his hands together like this and push as hard as he could until he came out. So before all of that, they were telling me that they would have to examine my baby and try to figure out what happened. But they weren't sure if they were going to give me an answer right away. So he comes out. But my eyes are shut. I didn't want to see anything. And the doctor was like, oh. The umbilical cord is wrapped around him. And it's in a tight knot. So then the nurse takes him away. And I'm just sitting there. In like a daze, I can't move. So then the nurse comes back in, not realizing that she brought him back in. So I'm in there for probably almost an hour, or probably even longer than that. And the nurse comes back in and says, Mommy, I gotta take him now. I'm gonna take him now. And it clicked that he was in there the whole entire time. So I asked if I could hold him. And so she gave me him. And he was so heavy. He was bigger than I thought. And he was long. He was long and heavy. And he looked like his dad. He looked nothing like me. He looked like his dad. So I helped him. And then I had to give him back to the nurse. So after I gave him to the nurse, I had to stay because they had to finish my blood work, give him medication, and I couldn't sleep. And my sister came in this little hospital bed and she laid in the bed with me. And I fell asleep for a little bit. Then My friends come. My best friend comes back. And the lady comes, one of the nurses, and she asks me, what do you want to do? At that moment, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to do anything, and that's what I said. I don't want to do anything. Well, that wasn't an option. Because I was so far along, by law, you have to have either a service, a funeral, or have the baby cremated. So at that moment, I couldn't make a decision. I couldn't make a decision at all. So we stayed, and it was time for me to go home. I go home, and now everything is sinking in. And now Brianna comes home. And I think out of this whole experience, telling my child that I lost the baby probably was the worst. So Brianna comes, and I put the pillow in front of me. And I tell her to come in the room, because me and Kevin have to tell her something. And I told her I lost the baby. And she looked at me like she didn't believe me. And when I took away the pillow, and she looked at my stomach, she just started crying, and that was the worst. Losing the baby and telling Brianna was the worst feeling. So I would say I didn't cope with it very well. And any mother that loses a child, I don't think knows how to cope with it at first. I had to learn how to be okay, and it took time. It took time to get where I am today. It took time. And one thing I would say is, if something tragic like this happens to you, you need to take time for yourself to heal physically, to heal, mentally, emotionally, everything. Because I didn't. I went to work after not even a month. I didn't give myself time. Every day I would search articles I would read, and I searched videos just to find someone that knew or was going through what I went through, or was going through what I was going through at that moment. And you won't believe how many women lose a child that was dealing with so many hurts and I was dealing with so much. I had people telling me that it's gonna be okay and you'll get over it. How you get over carrying a child? You feel them move. And honestly, it took me so long to accept the fact that I was pregnant and that I was having a child, and it took me a long time to accept the situation in itself. It took a long time, and when I finally accepted it, there was no baby. So I say this: and it might be cliche, but don't ever think that your problem isn't somebody else's problem, or your hurt isn't someone else's hurt. And I had to learn that. I thought I was in this by myself. But when I finally put myself out there and let people know this is what happened to me, the people that were close to me came and said, Joanne, this happened to me too. It made me feel so good for that moment to know I could call this person or text this person and to say, how did you feel when this happened? Or what are you doing now? Or just how was your day today? You need people around you to support you. Because if I didn't have Kevin, if I didn't have my sister, if I didn't have my cousin Nikki, if I didn't have Jeannie, if I didn't have Victoria, I don't know what I would have done. If I didn't have my daughter, I don't know what I would have done, because they were such big parts to help me get through and they keep helping me in different ways. So that is my story, and I don't want this to be the last video. I want, people to ask questions if you have questions, if you just want someone to listen to you, because sometimes that's all someone needs, is someone to have an open ear for them to listen. I know that's what I needed. I wasn't so focused on asking questions. I just wanted someone to hear me and understand what I was going through, and didn't blow it off like, you'll get over it. I didn't want to hear that. And I was tired of hearing that. I needed to hear someone say, tell me more about how you feel. So let my experience help you get through yours. I love you guys, and